Consider a proclamation non-pro-tunc honoring the Griffin Exchange Club 2013 Man of the Year, the Honorable Sidney R. Esser. I will read. Speakers must sign up prior to the meeting and provide their names, addresses, and topic in which they will speak on. Speakers must direct all comments to the board only. Speakers will be allotted 3 minutes to speak on their chosen topics that relate to matters pertinent to the jurisdiction of the Board of Commissioners. No questions will be asked by any of the commissioners during citizen comment. Outbursts from the audience will not be tolerated. Common courtesy and civility are expected at all times during the meeting. First person to sign up is Robert N. Devane. Robert, when you come up, please give us your name and your address, please, sir, for the record.
Thank you, Chief. Still call you Chief. I'm Robert Devane, and my address is 103 Landon Circle, Barnesville, Georgia. I'm a past city employee with the city of Barnesville. I was fire chief, council member, and I'm currently running for Lamar County Commission Chairman in Lamar County. This body here, well, before I say anything else real quick, is several years ago, they changed the name of the technical college here to Southern Crescent. And the people in Spalding and Griffin had given so much, and y'all had given so much that I heard the response that it was kind of a slap on the face. And that was serious. And I think what I'm fixing to tell you is a lot more serious. And I hope y'all take it that way. This body, you, have a support for education throughout our region. Several years ago, you helped fund a student learning center on the UGA campus. And just weeks ago, we all celebrated when Gordon State College in Barnesville and UGA decided to allow college credits to be transferred to UGA from Gordon State. I am concerned this evening about news stories that I have read which suggest that in a number of occasions, UGA employees were assigned to perform work that a contractor was actually paid to do. I am also very concerned about admissions by college officials at the experiment station that a department head was allowed to use an unlicensed plumber contractor to install gas pipings, which later developed a serious gas leak in areas used by students, researchers, and the public. I can't help but wonder what this person's motivations were in allowing a contractor to skirt the law, endanger the public, and as it appears, submit false billings to the Georgia taxpayers for that work. Considering the magnitude of your investment in education here in Spalding County, I urge this body to intercede on behalf of the taxpayers by ordering a full, fair criminal investigation into the allegations of wrongdoing with the maintenance department at UGA Experiment, Georgia. Thank you.
Thank you, Robert.
Thank you, Mr. Wilson. Thank you, Honorable Council. Have a good night.
Next person signed up is Sarah Chatham. Yes, ma'am, if you would please, your name and address for a record, please. Thank you.
Sharon Chatham, 1985 North Walkersville Road, Griffin, Georgia.
All right, thank you, ma'am.
I'm manager at Ringo Grocery, and we're applying for a beer license. And we were asking that the variance be changed from 300 to 150 feet. There are 3 dwellings around there. They have previously sold beer there, and the same 3 dwellings are there now, that were there then are still there now.
Our hands, I mean, the county ordinance is county law. I mean, I don't know.
The only way to accommodate this request, Mr. Chairman, would be for the board to vote to change the distance requirements on the ordinance. There's no provision for a variance or anything of that nature, and the previous alcoholic beverage license was allowed to expire and was not renewed. So we'd have to change the ordinance that would apply countywide, not just for this single location, it would have to apply countywide.
And I know there was a lot of research and a lot of work put into the ordinance to determine the distances and everything like that. I'm sorry.
Thanks.
Yes, ma'am. Michael Renew.
My name is Michael Renew. I live at 500 Everdrum Lane. I'm here to talk about last week's budget talk on Monday and Tuesday. The Sheriff's Department has asked for the last 3 years for 4 extra men to help the Criminal Investigation Division. I understand from last week's meetings that that request has been denied again. And it's clear to me that the force is needed, or the Sheriff's Department wouldn't keep asking for these 4 men to help fight crime. Crime is on the uprise, or at least it seems to be. There's a lot of houses being robbed, a lot of cars being stolen, a lot of things to investigate. So I would like for y'all to reconsider the budget again and see if you can work it in to help the citizens of Spalding County. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. That's all the people we had signed up. All right, next item on the agenda is the minutes. Consider approval of the minutes for the May 5th, 2014 regular meeting and the executive session of May 5th, 2014 of the Spalding County Board of Commissioners.
Mr. Chair, move to approve the minutes as identified.
Second.
I have a motion for approval by Commissioner Ray, second by Commissioner Johnson. All those in favor, please raise your hand. 4-0. We have no items on the consent agenda. Under old business, consider approval of a transportation program service agreement between Spalding County, the City of Griffin, and Paradigm Consulting Group. Mr. Wilson.
Mr. Chairman, this was tabled at the last meeting. The City of Griffin voted last week to approve this agreement, and we are bringing it back before you for this meeting tonight.
Mr. Chair, move to.
We need to lift it from the table.
Yeah, that's what I was going to do.
Sorry.
Move to lift this item from the table to consider the transportation program service agreement between Spalding County, the City of Griffin, and Paragon Consulting Group.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to lift from the table. All in favor, please raise your hand. 4-0. All right, it's lifted.
So, discussion, my understanding, once again, we're saving $10,000 as well.
Yes, ma'am. The contract is $100,000 total, $50,000 for the city, $50,000 for the county. We have budgeted $60,000 in the current fiscal year, and should this be approved, we would budget $50,000 in the upcoming fiscal year.
And how many people have applied for this position, Mr. Wilson?
We have interviewed roughly a dozen people. There's been probably 15 or 16, but Mr. Smith and I have interviewed most of those and have not found a satisfactory candidate.
And the city's, you said, agreed to all this as well?
Yes, ma'am. They approved it, and we have their signed agreement.
Mr. Chair, I move to approve the transportation program service agreement between Spalding County, the City of Griffin, and the Paragon Consulting Group.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. A motion by Commissioner Ray, second by Commissioner Johnson for approval. Any discussion?
There has been some debate, if I may, concerning our new financial agreement, our new financial policies and procedures. And there are times when, no, I just want to go there. Based on the need of the community, based on the cost that this is going to save the taxpayers, that is one of the reasons I'm voting for this. This is one of those options that become available where we can actually help our community instead of hindering by not or continuing a search for someone when we have a competent, knowledgeable, experienced person who can fill the slot. With that, I'll call for a question. If there's no further.
Well, I'm in favor of Paragon. I have no problem with them. I just don't like the way it's been handled. We worked on purchasing orders for nearly 6 months, and here we are. We turn right back around and not even go by it. And it's just, to me, it's not right. I think Anthony's the person to do the job. I have no problem with that. I like the $10,000. It's the point that we're not going by policy. And
I can see the justification in both of those, but at the end, I think going back to what Commissioner Ray was saying, and I agree with you on it. However, there's certain situations where you do have to make certain decisions, and this situation does make sense, and we are saving the taxpayers' money at the end of the day.
All right, all those in favor, please raise your hand. 3, opposed, 1. All right. Item 2, under old business, consider approval of revised contract with Reunited Training and Counseling Incorporated and Good Samaritans Community Development Group Incorporated.
We were notified last week by Good Samaritans that they, through their arrangement with the school system, instead of having their program at Fairmont Community Center, they want to continue it at AZ Kelsey. And then they would also like to continue, like to provide that service at City Park, renting that facility from us. But due to the fact that there's no air conditioning at Ambucks, and that they're not really sure they would get the participation to justify the program, they wanted to modify the agreement, which the board approved before, for 3 locations down to a single location at City Park. Is that correct, sir?
That's correct. The rest of the contract remains unaffected. It's just gone from 3 locations to 1. That's the difference. That's the change.
Again, this was experimental, so we were going to try it anyway, but we brought it back to you because the scope changed so much from 3 locations to 1 location.
This service is at no cost to the taxpayer.
No cost to the county.
Let's make sure we make that
Why?
point.
does he have a contract with the school system about using Kelsey? And is he gonna take people in that neighborhood there into it?
Yes, sir, he will accept anyone, that area is walkable from that area, and he plans on anyone who walks up will be allowed to participate in the program, yes, sir. And
Does he have a contract with the school system though?
I do not know that. I've asked Kelly to check on that, but the principal hasn't gotten back with her yet.
Well, the school board would be the one to have to make it.
You would, I would ultimately say it would be with the Board of Education, yes, sir.
And how soon will we get that information?
I don't know. I think their camp starts next month, doesn't it? And we wanted to get it on this agenda because I think camp starts before our next meeting on June the 2nd.
Can we find out whether he got a contract, and if he's got a contract with the school, he's gonna take the people in the neighborhood, go ahead and approve it under those grounds? And if he doesn't have a contract, then it'll all be put on hold.
Yes.
Okay?
So your motion would be to approve this subject to confirmation that he has a contract
With the
with
school
the
board.
With the
system.
school board about,
And if he doesn't have a contract, then this matter is on hold and comes back on June the 2nd.
Is that your motion, board?
right, you done a good job.
I'll second
Restate
that.
that, Bart.
I thought that's what you meant to say.
Motion by Commissioner Miller, second by Commissioner Johnson, to do what our attorney said.
Yes, sir.
All right, any further discussion? All those in favor, please raise your hand. 4-0. All right, new business. Excuse me. We need to conduct a public hearing to consider the establishment of streetlight district for Sun City Peachtree Project, POD 28B.
Mr. Chair, I move we move into a public hearing in order to consider the establishment of streetlight district for Sun City Peachtree by 28B, 29A, and 31.
Well,
Well,
I think we can do all.
Can we
of
do
that,
all of
Okay.
it?
I think you can.
Unless somebody objects.
28B and
28B.
29A.
29A.
yeah, that's all.
I don't see anything.
What about 31?
That's a next plat.
That's a
That's a
flat.
flat, okay.
Second.
All right, so we have a motion and a second to consider, have a public hearing for Sun City Peachtree established streetlight district for Pod 28B and Pod 29A. All those in favor, please raise your hand.
Now, is anyone here present to comment on the streetlight districts for Pod 28B or 29A? Anyone here to comment?
Take a motion to close the public hearing.
And hearing no comment, move to adjourn the public hearing.
Second.
Okay, a motion and a second to adjourn the public hearing. All in favor, please raise your hand. 4-0.
You do have to vote on the second.
Item 2, consider approval of streetlight district for Sun City Peachtree, Pod 28B. Do we have a motion?
For those of you who haven't done these before, let me explain. Pulte owns all the lots in both these pods, and in order to have a streetlight district, 2/3 of the property owners have to submit approval for that. Since Pulte owns 100%, it's automatic. But in order for us to actually go through and declare a streetlight district, we have to do this. Streetlight districts, these will be contracted with Central Georgia EMC. The county will be billed monthly for these, and then the appropriate owners in that pod will be billed once a year on their tax bill for their pro rata per portion of those streetlights. So there's no cost at all to the county. It's a service that we offer, and the residents in that area pay for the streetlights in their pod.
I make a motion to approve the streetlight district, Sun City Peachtree, Pod 28B.
Second.
I have a motion by Commissioner Miller, second by Commissioner Johnson for approval. Any discussion? All those in favor, please raise your hand. 4-0. Skipping 3 and going down to 4, consider approval of the streetlight district for Sun City Peachtree, Pod 29A.
I make a motion to consider approval of streetlight district for Sun City Peachtree, Pod 29A.
Second.
A motion by Commissioner Johnson, second by Commissioner Ray for approval. Any discussion? Those in favor, please raise your hand. 4-0. Item 5, consider approval of final plat for Sun City Peachtree subdivision, Pod 31B.
Mr. Chairman, the pod the streets have been accepted. Applicant has met all the requirements for final plat approval. All departments and agencies have signed off. Recommend approval.
Mr. Chair, move to approve the final plat for Sun City Peachtree subdivision, Pod 31B.
Second.
Have a motion by Commissioner Ray, second by Commissioner Johnson. Any discussion? Those in favor, please raise your hand. 4-0. Consider acceptance of right-of-way deed for Eagle Drive and Big Grass Court, Pod 31B, Sun City Peachtree subdivision.
Mr. Chairman, these have all been inspected by the Public Works Department, are ready to be accepted. Make a motion, we need a motion for approval, so we recommend approval. Acceptance, I'm sorry.
Which, is this item 5?
Item
These are,
6.
yes,
Item
these are the
6.
streets within Pod 31B,
Okay.
Eagle
Okay.
Drive and Bent Grass Court.
I make a motion to accept right-of-way deed for Eagles Drive and Grass Court, Pod 31B, Sun City Peachtree subdivision.
Second.
Have a motion by Commissioner Miller, second by Commissioner Ray to accept the right-of-way deed for the named streets. Any discussion? All those in favor, please raise your hand. 4-0. Item 7, consider approval of revised FY 2014 CSBG application utilizing $30,840.21 in carryover funds. Mr. Wilson.
Mr. Chairman, the board, we were notified late Thursday that federal government had approved and the states had approved our CSBG application to utilize these carryover funds. Previously, you had approved the $119,190 budget in April, and we were notified of these carryover funds, and we needed to accept those, so we put them on this agenda. It allows us to restore funding for the after-school program, the youth and family development, and also to increase the funding for Meals on Wheels.
Mr. Chair, move to approve the revised FY 2014 CSBG application utilizing $30,840.21 in carryover funding.
Second.
Have a motion by Commissioner Ray for approval, second by Commissioner Miller. Any discussion?
I do have a question, just to be clear. So this is this 30,000 is going to be less than 119 we originally approved?
In addition to the 119.
Okay.
Any further questions? All those in favor of the motion, please raise your hand. 4-0. Item 8, consider approval of contract with Budget Vet LLC to provide veterinary services to dogs and cats being held at the Spalding County Animal Shelter.
This contract kind of plays into the new ordinance we passed concerning the fact that from now on, when dogs or cats are adopted, we used to ask them to get the dog or the cat spayed or neutered within X days or months, and so we had to check up, and it didn't work. We gave them vouchers, and that didn't work. So we changed our ordinance where now, if you want to adopt, let's say, a dog, before that dog is going to be turned loose into your possession, you're going to have to pay certain fees. You're also going to have to pay a scheduled price to this vet who comes around in a mobile operating room about once a week, sometimes twice a week, depending upon the load. And she performs either a spay or a neuter, depending on what the case may be. And those fees are paid by the person who wants to adopt the animal. So we don't have to keep up with it anymore. It's done before they get their hands on it. This contract is with that vet, and the animal control people are very happy. She does a great job. She comes when she says she's coming, and we recommend approval of it. The fees are very modest for what you normally expect.
Mr. Chair, move to approve.
Item 8. It's number 8. Well, okay.
Yeah. The contract with Budget Vet LLC to provide veterinary services to dogs or cats being held at the Spalding County Animal Shelter.
Second.
Motion for approval by Commissioner Ray, second by Commissioner Johnson. Any discussion? Those in favor, please raise your hand. 4-0. Item 9, consider a request from the Forest Department for funding for the cost to replace the Snapper ZTR mower that was destroyed by fire last month. Mr. Wilson.
You may recall seeing on the front page of the Griffin Daily News, one of our 10-year-old ZTR mowers that caught on fire. The mower was damaged. It's going to cost more to repair it than the mower's worth. Plus, it's an older mower and parts aren't really available on the, anything but the secondary used market. We have obtained a price through Georgia State contract for replacing that mower. The total for it is $5,999.04. We're requesting that money come from the Commissioner's contingency. There is a slight chance that we'll be able to purchase a show or market mower where they have been at a show and maybe used it 4 or 5 hours for a demo or something like that. This price is for a brand new one, but if we can get one cheaper, we'll do that. But we'd like authorization for up to the $5,999.04. And there is sufficient funds in contingency to take care of that.
Mr. Chair, move to approve the request from the Parks and Rec Department for funding to replace the cost of a Snapper ZTR mower that was destroyed by a fire up to the amount of $5,999.04 from the contingency fund.
I second.
Have a motion by Commissioner Ray for approval, second by Commissioner Johnson. Any discussion?
And what's the likeliness of getting that used one, William?
And they hope that they'll have one within the next 30 days.
Any other questions? All those in favor, please raise your hand. 4-0. Consider approval for the Spalding County Human Resource Department to apply for the 2014 ACCG Group Health Benefits Program Health Promotion and Wellness Grant.
Mr. Chairman, Board, this is a yearly grant that we apply for. We have been successful in receiving that grant for the past several years. This allows us to fund our annual Spring into Fitness event, which we had a couple of weeks ago at Wyoming Ties Park. It was a very fun event. I believe the chairman got to come by and see that, but we meet all the qualifications and recommend applying for this grant.
Make a motion that we consider approval for the Spalding County Human Resources Department to apply for the 2014 ACCG Group Health Benefits Program Health Promotion and Wellness Grant.
Second.
Have a motion by Commissioner Johnson for approval, second by Commissioner Ray. Any discussion? All those in favor, please raise your hand. 4-0. Item 11, consider approval of agreement with the Association of County Commissioners of Georgia Civic Affairs Foundation Incorporated for a Georgia County Internship Program grant in the amount of $2,000.
A couple of months ago, the board authorized applying for an internship grant through the ACCG Civic Affairs Foundation. We were awarded that grant. It's for 200 hours at $10 per hour for an intern. This is a contract with the foundation for that grant, and we will begin advertising immediately. No cost to the county.
Mr. Chair, move to approve the agreement of the ACCG Civic Affairs Foundation Incorporated for a Georgia County Intern Program grant in the amount of $2,000.
Second.
Have a motion by Commissioner Ray for approval, second by Commissioner Miller. Any discussion?
Is this person this person go help?
This person's going to work with Jenna on preparing the vendor listing, and I misquoted a while ago. We will be responsible for our portion of FICA taxes, so there will be a little bit of cost, but the majority of the expenditure comes from ACCG. But this is to help Jenna.
Any other questions? All those in favor, please raise your hand. 4-0. Item 12, consider authorizing funding of May 26, 2014 Memorial Day holiday for all county employees.
Mr. Chairman, Ms. Garrison and I have analyzed the revenues and expenditures for the 10.5 months. It appears that we will have the funding available both in the general fund, the fire district fund, and the water system fund for the Memorial Day holiday. In the general fund, that is $76,240. In the 911 fund, that is $3,864. Fire district, $16,522, and then the water system, $675. As you know, we were able to fund, we had scheduled 2 unpaid holidays. We were able to fund the Good Friday holiday, and it appears from analyzing 10.5 months worth of expenditures and revenues that we're going to be also able to do this holiday as well.
Make a motion to consider authorizing funding for May 26, 2014 Memorial Day holiday for all county employees.
Second.
I have a motion by Commissioner Johnson for approval, second by Commissioner Miller. Any discussion? All those in favor, please raise your hand. 4-0. Report of County Manager.
Yes, sir. Griffin Spalding Area Transportation Committee meeting is this Wednesday, May 21st at 1:30 p.m. here in this room. We do have a zoning meeting this week at 6 o'clock in this room. The College and Career Academy is meeting next Tuesday in the old Taylor Street Middle School Library at 11:30 on the 27th. And we do have scheduled our budget public hearing at 5 o'clock on June the 2nd, right before our regular meeting at 6 p.m. I wanted to let you know that we had pretty good participation at our Spring into Fitness, and if you didn't get a chance to come out there, one of the most fun events was the triathlon, where you had to skip, ride a scooter, take a bucket of water from 2 locations to another, skip back and ride the scooter and come back. And One of our firefighters was able to do that in 57 seconds, so he won the grand prize.
Which was,
It was very fun, and you missed, in case you missed it, William did the Zumba, and
I got proof of
Chairman Gardner has pictures.
You didn't put them on Facebook?
No, sir.
The video will be worth much more money than pictures.
It was interesting to watch.
That's all I have, sir.
All right, Commissioner Miller.
Okay, I got one thing to ask about the budget, William.
Yes, sir.
I should ask you before we got through. There are no promotion, no raises for anybody in next year's budget, right?
Okay. There's a 1% cost of living raise for all elected officials as approved by the state to include county commissioners. There is tax commissioner has part-time going to full-time, and clerk of court has a part-time going to full-time.
Yeah, those I know about.
There's a new part-time in recreation, and of course, there's the assistant county manager position,
Board of Elections.
and Board of Elections has a part-time going to full-time as well.
And that's it.
That's it.
Okay. I got this, out of some paperwork, it's about the airport. I highlighted it. Says that more or less that we do not, we're prior to July 1st, 1978. That they cannot deny our license because of that. Because it's prior to July. Right. And I think more or less, I think this stuff should be, I mean, somebody needs to explain to me why it's not grandfathered in to start with. And that's all I got.
All right, Commissioner Johnson.
okay. I'd just like to congratulate the University of Georgia students earlier this month, and all the other students, and hopeful for a very safe summer.
And you having said that, I'm not trying to skip over you, they had an excellent keynote speaker at their graduation, and you did a great job.
Thank you.
Commissioner Ray.
I want to say, went to the Relay for Life on Friday night. It was a little different than what we had seen before, being at Spalding High School versus the fairgrounds, but I think they did a very good job. And I just want to say thank you for everyone who assisted and participated in that, because that's really a worthwhile event and endeavor. I want to remind everyone that tomorrow is voting day. If you haven't voted early, please take the time and make your voice heard. Memorial Day is next week, and I wanted to take a moment and say thank you to all our veteran service members for their past and current service, and those who are looking at going into military service of any of the branches that we have. If I could follow up on something Bart said, I had requested the other night, and Robert Moll, the director of the airport, gave us a lot of information. But I would like, because of we haven't talked about it in a while, and because no information in a while becomes confused, it becomes rumor, and us to be able to narrow some things down, I'd like for us to go back and request a workshop between the City of Griffin, Spalding County Government, Airport Authority, and GDOT. And this is why. When I got all the paperwork that Robert sent back, and I went back and looked over it, there's a lot of conflicting information. I'm going to give an example. From the inspection that was done, the inspection results that were written up by Carol Comer on March 17, 2012. Carol was up here, I think Alan Hood's below her. But in that letter it said, these are the things you need to work on at the current airport. And with that, it said contact Alan Hood for questions. Well, then we get an email last Monday from a Carla Sandy, I believe, Sandy's, and and it just kept blew the Comer letter out of the water. So I'd like for us to request a workshop between us, the city, and the airport authority, where we can sit down and discuss the items that need to be discussed, so that we can come, narrow down what needs to be done at the current airport, what the new airport is going to look at, what the costs are for it, so that we can identify that to the taxpayer. Because the taxpayers are the ones who are going to have to hold this debt for X amount of years, and that's to be determined as well. There's many different theories. But in order for us to do what's best for Spalding County, we need complete and factual, accurate information. And right now, there's just too much smoke in the air, and we need to clear that smoke out.
Would it not be best to have that request from the state? It probably would need to come from the airport authority, but it probably would be best.
Well, we can send a request.
Well,
to
we
the
can
airport.
send it both and then ask the airport authority to request the state to attend as well.
And we need somebody that, whoever from the state that comes down, they need to be the person that can answer the question.
The
Not
person in
say,
charge, yes, sir.
"Now, we will get back with you."
Yes, sir.
But we need some definitive answers, because the people, there's just too much, like Commissioner Ray said, there's too many different numbers, costs, all of it, they're all over the place. Bring us the news, good, bad, ugly, whatever it is, we need to hear it, and the citizens need to hear it, and they need to know what's involved.
Let's start with it. That way we can educate, inform, and move forward.
Is that all right with the rest of y'all? Sure. All right, we have consensus on the board to do that. Anything else, sir?
That's all I have, sir.
I have nothing, so do we have a closed session?
No, sir.
Mr. Chair, move to adjourn.
Have a motion and a second for adjournment. All those in favor, please raise your hand. 4-0.
I have an anniversary. Thank you for a quick meeting, board members. You can have one, but we've already adjourned. You got that right, Mark. You got a lot of people. How are you? You good? I see what you're saying. Chairman.